Hello everyone, this is a quick video about the UK census. I made a video yesterday about how today is the deadline, how this weekend is a deadline for filling up the census. UK census happens every 10 years and by law it is mandatory for everyone staying in the UK to fill it up. If you stayed in UK or going to stay in UK for more than 3 months, then it's mandatory for you to fill up the census. And I clarified a few points in my video yesterday, and because most of these points were in different news articles, I kind of collated it and made it in Tamil and gave my understanding as well. So I had an intent to do in English, but a lot of people had asked me to make the English version, asking some of the questions that I had clarified in yesterday's video. So I'll make a quick recap of the same content in English today as well. So first thing is, you would have got a letter like this to your home if you stayed in UK from the census department with a 16-character code that you will need for filling up the census. What do you do if you don't have the letter? What if you don't have the 16-character code? So we'll see that and we'll see how to fill it up very quickly in this video. And also a few questions, few clarifications. If you are an Indian specifically, there are a few things that I was pointing out yesterday. I'll clarify that as well today. So let's get into the video. So first of all, like I said, if you go to the census.gov.uk, the website is given in the letter as well. But if you go there, there is a start census button, and it also talks about today is the deadline. And there's a bottom line which says that you must complete the census, otherwise you could be fined up to £1,000. We'll come to that. But if you click the start census, you will see that it asks for the 16-character code, which you would have got in the letter. If you put in the 16-character code and then click on the access census, it will show you your address and you can start putting in your details. It takes roughly about 8 or 10 minutes. And in several news articles, you would have seen that you could be fined up to £1,000 if you don't fill it in by today, or if you give false information if you make one false information in the census, you could be fined up to £1,000. You would have seen it in BBC and several other news articles. But is it really true that if I miss the deadline today, am I going to be fined £1,000? No, it's not the scenario. By chance, if you miss the deadline today, you will be contacted by a census officer, and the census officer will help you, will support you to fill up the form in case you miss the deadline of today. Only if you don't agree with the census officer, and then despite when the census officer approaches you, you're still not completing the census, then it will be forwarded to a non-compliance team, and that could be taken to prosecution, where you could be fined up to £1,000. I think the starting fine is about £100, and then it goes up depending upon the severity of your non-compliance. It can go up to £1,000, or if you have provided false information, for example, if you've hidden the fact that somebody is at your home, it could go up to £1,000. That's what they're talking about, and they will encourage you to complete it. They will give you support. That's what is given in census.gov.uk, in other news articles as well, which talks about it in detail. They've clarified what is behind the £1,000 fine. So there is no paranoia, there is no need to be afraid of it. It's a very simple process. If you've forgotten it or if you've not done it, there is help available even after today. But it is always better to complete it today, because if the non-compliance team is reaching you and you're not available or you're not picking up your call, it could go into that non-compliance and fine scenario. So make sure that you take a few minutes. If you have the letter already, it just takes 5-10 minutes for each person, and if you have 2-3 people in the house, 15-20 minutes is all it takes to complete the whole census. But if you don't have that letter, if you don't have the 16-character code, they have a number that you can contact them on this weekend, especially they are working 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you can call them from the morning till 8 p.m. today, and the telephone number is a free telephone number. So it is only for England and Wales. Obviously for Scotland, it is happening at a later point in time. I think it's happening in 2022. So even though we say it's a UK census, it's pretty much happening only for England and Wales now. For Scotland, it is happening next year. So this happens every 10 years, which is why this is very important. Now, if you are staying in UK for more than 3 months, you have to fill it up. But if you are coming here as a visitor visa and intend to stay only for less than 3 months, then you don't have to fill up. But if you brought your parents here for 6 months or even 4 months for that matter, and they are going to be in the country as of 21st evening or 21st night, then you must include them in your census as well. Even though if the parents are going to go back to India next week or a couple of days later or 10 days later, you still need to fill their details up if they've stayed in UK for more than 3 months. So anybody who stay in your house for a period of time today on March 21st, then it is your responsibility as the house owner or as the primary renter to make sure that you fill up their information as well. So if you're staying in a paying guest, for example, make sure your landlord or your homeowner is aware of your details, the specific details like your ethnicity or nationality, and they're filling it up correctly when they are submitting the census. First of all, make sure that they are including your name in the census. So that's your responsibility. If you don't have an address proof and you're staying in a paying guest accommodation, make sure you talk to your landlord. Now, as an Indian, the one thing to be proud of is that there are about 6 Indian languages that are there, 2 South Indian languages and 4 other languages. And if as an example, I'm clicking on the Tamil link, where all of the 6 languages, the Gov website, the UK government website, the information is there in like 6 Indian languages, which is something to be proud of for sure. The amount of support that they give, and the reason why they give this support, why they give this content in other languages other than English, especially 6 Indian languages, right? And out of the 25 odd languages, 6 languages are Indian languages. Now, the reason that they give this kind of support and this kind of help for these languages is because we have identified ourselves as as belonging to this language or coming from this language, or speaking this as a primary language. Now, what a lot of people do is that when they come to fill it up, there is a question, what's your primary language? In an effort to say that I speak English really well, they put English in it. A lot of people had done this, right? For example, last time when it happened in 2011, 10 years back, roughly the estimate is about 1.5 lakh Tamilians stay in UK, of which only 25,000 people actually put their primary language as Tamil. A lot of people do this thinking that that's my qualification in terms of how well I speak English. That's not what it is asking for. It is asking you to identify what language did you originally belong to, and that's how they are giving this kind of help. Like if you go to places like Wembley or places like predominantly Indians who are residing in that area, there is instructions written or name boards written, or the boards are written in Indian languages. Some places in East Ham is written Tamil, in some places it's written Gujarati, or it's written Hindi, for example. And it's good for people who are coming with their families, especially to be in those areas. They are able to use those things, and that you only get that if you mark yourself as a Gujarati, or mark yourself as a Punjabi, or mark yourself as a Tamilian in that primary language. That's your identity. I mean, obviously India is your nationality, which you have to fill up, or previous nationality that you will be filling up, or where you were born in, but your identity is your language. So fill up your language, primary language. If you have not done this, make sure you fill it up. And if you've already submitted it, I don't know if you can edit it, but at least for the next time, make sure that you fill it up, because that determines how many people belonging to that identity are there in you. The main thing that they ask for, which I think that we need to fill up, is that it asks you what is your place of work that you commute to on a daily basis. Because of COVID-19, currently many of us could be working from home, so the tendency is that for us to put work from home. But the reason why they ask is because the ONS, Office of National Statistics, uses this data to find out that how many people travel from one location to another location as part of their daily commute. And some of the transport decisions are made based on that. For example, if you are traveling from Croydon to Hounslow on a daily basis, and they see that thousands of people are traveling from Croydon to Hounslow on a daily basis, there is no easy commute from Hounslow to Croydon. You have to go through like 2 or 3 changes, and it takes like more than an hour. So they could be thinking that, okay, so many people travel from these 2 locations, we might probably need to start a new bus service, or a new travel service, or a new train service, which connects these 2 places in a much better way. So if they alternatively, if you don't put it, and they see that the number of people using it or traveling from one location to another location is very, very less, they could be reducing the number of bus services, and a lot of decisions, transport decisions, logistics decisions, could be taken based on the 10-year survey that the national census that happens. So it is very important, if you want these facilities, if you want better transportation and better recognition of the fact that you're traveling from one place to another place, this is your opportunity to mark the point that you're traveling from this location to this location for your daily commute, or for your needs, or for whatever purposes that you have. You or people in your house, pretty much. So again, the tendency is that because in the last year we've been working from home because of COVID-19, people tend to say that, I just want to say what happened in the last year, but that's not what it is for. It's a 10-year census, so make sure that you fill it up appropriately. Hopefully this was useful. Until next time, thank you, bye.